Lo complicado que habrá sido el rodaje de Hombre en la Luna, de Man on the Moon, que tuvo hasta un documental contando cómo fue trabajar con Jim Carrey, con Danny DeVito y con tanta gente que se preocupó por contar cómo fue la vida de Andy Kaufman. Por eso, cuando hablé con Anastas Michos, el director de fotografía de esta película, quise preguntarle qué recuerdos tenía de este rodaje y me contó algunas historias más que interesantes, sobre todo sobre Jim Carrey. Todo esto en este informe sobre Man on the Moon.
We now return to Mira Akien and Contre with our latest interview.
I don't know Jim as a human being.
That's a good answer.
In other words, I don't know Jim. I know the actor who was playing the role.
You don't know the real me.
There isn't a real you.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
What can you tell me about seeing him transform into Andy Kaufman? And is it true that he asked you to call him that?
No, he didn't ask anybody to do anything. Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was the biggest movie star at the time. You know, he had just completed several huge hits and was going on to do The Grinch and several other huge hits. So he was a very extremely well-paid, I think $20 million kind of movie star guy. And he just showed up as Andy Kaufman. You know, when I first met him during a test for the opening sequence, which was the projector in black and white. When I first met him, he was Andy Kaufman, so it wasn't any difficulty calling him Andy because he was in character always. But having said that, it was a very, very, very difficult film. I mean, he was very difficult on it because he was playing a difficult character. The film was difficult because people like our producer, Danny DeVito, had, and most of the cast, some of the cast, like Judd Hirsch and whatnot, had been personal friends of Andy.
You're insane. But you might also be brilliant.
The story of the man, the myth, the misunderstanding.
So you just pretend to be an ass.
That's what I'm good at.
So on the first day of shooting, he was late. Nobody knew where he was. He drove in from Malibu to Universal, which is, in a normal day, it's an hour and a half, 15 minutes. And he drove in an ice cream truck. So it took him 3 hours. Then he would not come inside until the entire crew, one by one, sang a song and got an ice cream. He wouldn't come inside the stage. So that was 100 and some odd people. It was a huge crew. It was a big movie, you know, big movie. And then we went inside and went to work. And then we did a rehearsal. He broke for lunch. Danny DeVito went into his trailer. He was the producer and an actor. He was playing the agent. So Danny goes into his trailer. Andy Kaufman, Jim, takes his friend's car, puts it right up against Andy DeVito's trailer door. So Danny can't come out. And then he jumps in another car and leaves for the rest of the day.
But how did you react when something like that happened? Because you
well,
know,
it was my first film as a director of photography. I've been a camera operator for many, many films on many, many different things. So this was a big break for me, and Milos gave me a huge break to shoot his film. How did I react? I reacted with fear because, you know, the film must remain on schedule. That's the number one. You know, you've got to stay to the schedule you would say to you you're going to do, and all during the prep. This is the schedule. This is what we're going to do. So I had to somehow figure out how to catch up in the lighting of it all, in this of taking no time, because that's the only part we could go quickly. So if I was thinking that normally it would take me half an hour or 45 minutes to do something, I had to figure out how to do it in 20 or 10 or 15. And I lost about 12 kilos.
for the stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we started on a 62-day schedule, and we ended up at 86. Luckily, I had an amazing crew with me. I had the creme de la creme of Hollywood.
I would like to take this entire audience out for milk and cookies. Follow me.
Everything I've read or heard about him since then, and he seems to be a very smart, kind person. He did kind things for the crew. You know, I mean, he rented the whole amusement park so we could just go and have fun, and nobody else was there. We had the whole huge amusement park just for like 100 people and their families, and would, you know, hand out candies and coffees and ice cream and things like that. But the difficulty really was the stress level of getting a film made and not knowing how, if we were going to shut down, if we weren't, if the studio was going to be going. I do remember going to dinner with Milos. It was just he and I, and we went to this little hot dog place. It was 10 o'clock at night. And we sat down and I asked him how he was doing. And he literally said, I don't know. He literally said, I don't know what kind of film I'm making, in his own way. He says, I have to discover this film because it was so difficult.